family, money, this a triple threat. Really started with nothing, had to manifest. If you don't know your worth, they gon' give you less. Why they envy me? Cause I'm the best. MVP. My legacy is how they remember me. And I know success brings your enemies. That's why.
Welcome back to the Triple Threat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bruce, aka Detroit Mogul.
One of your co-hosts, Brian Keys, aka BK609.
And it's Vic Gurley, aka MVP Vic.
For life. But anyways. Man, first off, before we get into today's episode, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate y'all rocking with Triple Threat. Seeing us on this journey, you know, this whole season of seeing us grow, bring y'all topics that you guys have enjoyed. We really appreciate it, you know, because we do this for y'all. We came together as brothers of like, let's do something together that would be impactful for the community, for the world. And, you know, just seeing some of the feedback that y'all have given us has given us that motivation, you know what I'm saying, to keep going. Because obviously we do this stuff. We don't have an audience. We just talking amongst each other and got cameras and things rolling. So we appreciate all of y'all tuning in. And as we end this first season of our Triple Threat Podcast, we have a very, very good episode today. Brian, what are we talking about today, man?
Hold on. I forgot.
Vic, what are we talking about today, man?
All right. So what we talking about is
Money.
women being submissive.
Men.
So this is a question, of course you can't answer right now, but just think about it.
Maybe we can.
I'm talking about the women.
No, I'm saying maybe we can. Go ahead and pull the live up.
Next season. But
Yeah, we're going to wait for that.
next
You
season.
gonna wait?
Next
Because
season.
we're going to do it live.
Next season. It'll be live.
We'll talk
So,
about that.
women, can you be submissive to a man without money? Or can you only be submissive to a man with money? That is the topic today. So,
What you think about that?
do you think a woman could be submissive? Do you think they're only submissive to men with money?
I don't know, man. I'm not a woman. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
No, I'm just kidding. Yes. I'm not gonna say only, but I'll say mostly.
Okay.
How about that? Mostly is my response. I think that you get that money. I mean, you can you can do whatever you want for real. Like I've seen some stuff that happened. Like especially here in Tampa. In Tampa, I have seen so many, and I'm not saying ugly ass white dudes because they white. I'm just saying I've seen ugly. Like how? How did you get?
pimp game
It's all
strong.
because of them. Nah, it's because of the money, bro. It's because of the money. He got some money, so he got the little whatever.
Yeah.
You don't agree? Tell me you have not seen it. Tell me you haven't seen a dude.
Absolutely.
And you look at him and you like, there's no way.
Absolutely.
Not even on some hater shit. Just on some.
Nah, you see it
look
all the time.
the
Yeah. Ocean Prime. Every
Oh.
time I'm in there.
all day long. Not even Ocean Prime. I went to a regular. What's the little Chinese spot on? Let me be politically correct. Asian cuisine spot on Del Mabry. It's right by the Wawa, by the stadium. Anyway, the name of it doesn't matter. But I went there and there was this very young, beautiful black woman there. With this dude who had the Benjamin Button joint, the top was out. He had the belly out and all that. And I was like, nah.
But he had that bad.
Yeah. Of course they left in that motherfucking Rolls Royce Wraith. Like,
I mean, hey, them stars will do it.
They do it. Put somebody in the galaxy,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Hey, you would know, my shit. My good man.
Hey,
you would know, huh?
It does help. You know, I
tell us some of your experiences, Mr. Money. Yeah, let's
can
put
talk
the
about it,
highlight
but-
on you. What's the spotlight?
but listen, I think also too, especially like in Tampa, another thing outside of money, influence.
Influence.
Yes.
So it's the influence and the money that when they hop in the Wraith and they look up at the ceiling and they you Chris Bruce.
You could have influence and not have money.
But that's
Oh,
what I'm
facts.
saying. Right. Right.
Facts. Because, never mind. Go ahead, Vic.
We know some people, right?
Absolutely.
We know
ahead.
some people
And
that
I
don't
think we
have
all
money.
are thinking
Where
of
you're
the
like,
same
if
type
I
people.
picked said person, whether it's male and female,
Mm-hmm.
up out of Tampa and drop this person in a new city, would this person be or strive the same way?
Absolutely not.
No.
Thank you.
No, not at all. But yeah, I believe women are going to be submit. I mean, first off, if you think about it in the Bible, things and stuff like that, the man is supposed to lead, right? So you can't really lead a relationship or a household if you don't have money, in a sense. Like I've, in my opinion, have saw situations where it will work. If you have an alpha woman and then the male is a beta, then yeah, but still, like, if you don't have no money, I just feel like in the world that we live in with social media, with so many options, not just men have a lot of options. Obviously, women have even millions of options now. That one person that got a bag, that got a blue check, that slide in, that test your relationship, and you ain't got no money, it's probably not gonna work out.
I don't know though. I don't know. And I'm not just saying that to be the confrontational one that's like, nah, let me go against what they're saying. I don't know, because I think there are some women who see that blue check and it's like, psh, I'm good.
I'm just saying that a lot of times women are looking at, think about when you see people put relationship goals. Who are they highlighting? They're not highlighting the pastor at the church. They're not highlighting, you know what I'm saying, the mayor of the city with the, you know what I'm saying? When they put relationship
they're not
goals.
necessarily highlighting the trips and all that stuff. A lot of times they're just highlighting the dude that's treating a chick well. You don't think so?
No.
Like, take for example, the Kardashian,
Uh-huh.
right? What's his name?
Travis Scott.
No, the other one. Travis Barker.
Oh, Travis
what's
Barker.
the name?
Right?
Courtney.
Yeah, that's
Courtney.
I don't think it was necessarily highlighting the fact that, you know, he's got all this money and he did this, and this. I think it was highlighting the fact that he came in and took over emotionally.
He did. But
No?
he did. But here's the thing. Look how it was presented, the picture. He had a whole bouquet of roses and flowers and stuff like that. And when he proposed, a broke man can't do that.
Man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a bunch of leaves out.
But if you think about it, that's the thing. That's the stuff that gets the headlines. It's the presentation.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you got a entertainer, rapper, entertainer, athlete, whatever it is, and they buying a girlfriend a Rolls Royce,
Facts.
Bentley, whatever it is, then you got all these females reposting talking about goals. But then you got to look at, okay, these same females that's reposting and saying goals, are they even in a position to be qualified to get a man
Exactly.
that can provide something like that?
To them,
And most of the time, the answer is no.
mentally and emotionally, financially, no. But physically, they believe they are.
It's not even, no, I'm not even talking finances, because again, what we've spoken about multiple times in this season, wealthy men don't care about if you got money.
Nope.
We already got that.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, the money is just a bonus. So that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Are you qualified as a woman? Can you do the things that it takes to first catch the attention and then keep that man?
Right.
Most of the time, the answer is no. So you got all these females saying, oh, there's goals, but what are you doing the things that she's doing to deserve that? Right. Another example, Moneybag Yo.
Yep.
His girl just bought him what?
Some
Land.
land.
When it was her, you know, they always say goals. How many of them same women gonna go buy their man some land? How many of them same women gonna go buy their man a Maybach?
Right.
She did that too.
Facts.
But they not gonna speak on that piece.
Right.
It's all about, like, you see what that man doing for her, you should be doing that for me. But what about what she doing for him? Are you willing to do that? Most of the time, the answer is no.
And I think the submission, the issue, especially in Black community, right, is because a lot of women have been raised by strong Black women. that have been taught, you don't need a nigga for nothing. You don't need a man. You can do this all by yourself, like I did. And the issue that happens is it raises a woman that now thinks that, I don't need a man. I can come in with alpha energy. I can take care of my kids. I can do all this stuff by myself. And that's why they won't submit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also been happening too. And also, not to mention, the dad, if he's missing out of the home, then she has no representation of how to submit to a man. Because the father's not there either.
Yeah, but I think it's up to that woman to be smart enough to pay attention to that too. To pay attention to the fact that I think at the end of the day, a lot, not all, again, we can't speak in all and none.
Nah, definitely not.
But a lot of those moms who are like, oh, you don't need a man for this, you can do this, you can do that. And again, you don't need a man for this. But it's nice to have a man for this, right? But a lot of the moms that preach that are still moms that are by themselves. True or false?
True.
Why do you think that is?
That's what I said. It comes also with the man, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like when a man leaves the home and he's not, all of us here, we pride ourselves on being fathers. You have men that leave out the home. They don't just divorce or break up with the person. They break up with the whole damn family.
Yeah.
So then as a man, if you're not stepping up and doing your job to show masculine energy and things like that, women has nothing to learn to be submissive. So then what happens is you end up at our ages, you're dating your child, your inner child. That's what you really end up dating somebody. You're dating somebody that's an inner child trying to figure things out. And that's when the issues come. You know what I'm saying? I learned that from doing a lot of therapy and stuff like that, is that is who we're battling against.
You go to therapy too?
Of course, man. I did a lot of therapy.
Did you go to therapy?
I guess I'm the only one that ain't been to therapy.
We gotta get Vic in there. We gotta get Vic in there. But that's what happens. Is so it's like we can't just blame the women. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna.
Right.
If the men, as men that you guys watch this, if you're a dad, it's so important to why a woman needs a father in their life to show them that masculine energy, to show them that they can feel in a safe space to be feminine and be submissive, because a lot of them times they don't even have the room to. If you growing up in the hood and you by yourself raising your kids, hey, you gotta have that masculine energy at all times.
Right. I agree. And it's funny you say that, because I teach my daughter a lot of stuff that a lot of men probably never will. Like, it's tough as a man because, there is a guy code. There is a man code. There is stuff that, even us with female friends, when we hear their problems and we want to help them, but it's still certain stuff we just can't tell them. Because can't give you the code. But with my daughter, like, I tell her everything, front to back. Whatever issue she has, she comes to me. And I'm like, oh, no, you need to let that little nigga go. He this, he that. He's insecure because, no offense, he looks like this and you look like that. So he's going to say certain stuff to bring you down so that you have issues with your self-esteem, so that he's more comfortable thinking that you're not going to go here and do this and do that. You know what I mean? And even the simplest stuff, like, say, for example, communication when you meet people. I'm like, baby girl, let me tell you something. You think that giving a dude your Instagram information or your whatever is any different than giving him your phone number? It's not. It's the same thing.
Facts.
I'm like, some of these niggas out here are smart enough to know that women have a little bit of security in thinking that I just gave him my Instagram, so it's cool. Nah, you really gave him your phone number. Can you message in Instagram?
Call.
Is that not the same as texting?
Yeah, you call them too.
Can you call in Instagram? Is that not the same as actually calling a person? Can you FaceTime in Instagram? It's all the same. But some of these dudes know, I got a little game, man. These women right here, they don't think like we think. I'm going to ask for her Instagram because she's going to be more likely to give me that than to give me her phone number. And I can still slow walk this process to get to where I want to be. But I think that it's important for us as fathers to teach our children the game. Not just relationship game, financial game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you brought your son a house. not to put your business out there. He ain't even old enough to reach the doorknob to open it.
Right.
But you're teaching them something by doing that. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that is a very important role that we have to play as fathers when it comes to not just our sons and our daughters, and even as men, when, you know, you're teaching your, like, you know, you're going to teach your daughter certain things to watch out for. You should also teach your sons certain things to do when it comes to women and how to treat them, how to handle them.
Right.
You know, learn from my mistakes or our mistakes as a generation of, like, you know, back in the day, think about it. How many of your uncles was so proud when you told them that you got some ass?
Facts.
Or that you got some ass from this girl and that girl, or these two girls at the same time. They like, yeah, nephew, yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think it's up to us to teach our sons, like, yo, you know, this is how you should treat a woman. Even though on the inside you might hear that he said this, and this. You're like, yeah, son. No, son, don't do that. Right. This is what you should do.
Yeah. But I mean, that kind of goes back to the topic too, because you know, a woman, there's gonna be a lot of women that say, oh, money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I personally think that's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
So my son, yes, I bought my son a house. I have my son's name on businesses. Mm-hmm. So I want my son to have a leg up. I want him to be financially stable. I want him to have investments. I want him to be the man that is financially stable, that a good woman would be looking for, would be seeking. Because at the end of the day, that's what they want. They want the security, both mentally, financially, spiritually, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, money plays a huge factor.
Facts.
Agreed.
And forget all the, it's all about how you make me feel, how you treat me, how you do this. Okay, well, if you don't have money, you're going to be stressed out about how you going to pay this bill, how you going to pay that bill, how you going to keep her happy and give her the things she wants. So money matters.
It does.
Money plays a factor into all the sentimental things that women say, oh, no, that's all that matters. Mm-hmm. But see, because you're not a man and you don't have those pressures, you may not understand it.
Right.
So, yes, like you said, it's important to put our kids in those positions to where they can be successful in those type situations. So my son will never be one of those that has to go try to leech off a woman.
Right.
Because if you look at it, you look at the current generation, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, it is. It's getting
there is.
There's a lot of that. Man. And I think that's why there's so many women that are under the impression like, I don't need a man, or money doesn't matter, right. Or you have the women that say, "Oh, I paid his bills, I was doing it." But true. You got to think about it. Is that the type of man that you actually want to be with?
Right.
That might be the only man they can get.
Yeah. So then you got to look at yourself. Like, okay, are you qualified to even, keep those type of men? With money, or is it? Are you just taking the easy route?
So with that said, I think the real thing we got to do here is we got to revamp that question that was there.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's all about being wealthy and rich as a man. Mm-hmm. We don't want to shit on our 9-to-5 niggas.
No, there's nothing wrong
you
with
can
them.
be wealthy and have a 9-to-5.
Exactly.
But well, not to say. I'm sorry. Not just the 9-to-5 niggas, but the dudes, people who aren't wealthy.
Okay.
But a financially responsible man.
That's the whole thing. Because there's a difference. There's people that make a lot of money and blow it, right? So this is the truth.
Facts.
Yeah. It really comes down to, like you said, financially responsible.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So do you think that a woman could be submissive to a financially responsible
man? I think she really only will, like long-term wise,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Because I feel like you can make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year and make the right decisions and still be able to give her the dates, still be able to pay the bills and whatever else that, will have her submitting
I think there's a lot of factors that come into that too, because then you go into like, okay, what type of women? Yeah, because you can have the women who are out here on their shit who making six figures, and then you got the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 man. He may be financially responsible, may have that masculine energy, but the way that society has kind of trained the minds of men and women when it comes to money is that woman that's making that six figures going to submit to a man that's making that 30, 40, 50,000.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes perfect example, Oprah and Stedman. She won't let that nigga marry her at all.
Exactly. And why is that? I couldn't tell you, bro. It's about that money. It's about that money. Because all he got to do is sign that paperwork. And then shit, you know what? I don't think it's working out. Yeah. And then shit, even if he don't get the money, he gonna get alimony.
Yep. And that's happened. Think about, we had Takia on here. She talked about that, right? Like and I've heard that from multiple women, where the male goes after the woman for money.
That's wild.
That is wild, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. Wild. Like times are changing.
I would not feel like a man doing that.
Me neither. Me neither.
But I'm just a BJ's nigga.
But there's a lot of men that don't care, and that's why I think that going back to the question, when it comes to money, and are women gonna submit? Like women only submit to men with money, because you got the dudes who is out here trying to trap the women.
Facts.
Yeah. Is that woman gonna submit to that man?
Right. And that's why, as us fathers too, that we have to not just put our kids in certain positions, but have conversations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that our parents have had a conversation with us. We are our first generation of 6-figure, 7-figure earners, right? And what happens, they say typically, is the first generation makes it, the second person inherits it, third person loses it. Why is that? The third generation loses it because from here we grinded it to get it.
Yeah.
We may have told our kids they inherit it, but then the third generation, the information doesn't get passed on.
Right.
So the money and everything gets passed on, but the information doesn't get passed on, and then they fucking lose everything.
SOPs. And I think it was Trap, Wall Street Trapper. That was, I think we had it was a conversation when we had that dinner in Orlando. Yeah. Yep. And he mentioned that. I said, that make a lot of sense. You do the write out SOPs. Then that way you got it all documented.
For those of y'all that don't know what an SOP is, it's standard operating procedure.
Yeah. It's basically instructions.
Basically.
Yes.
Written instructions. So you got the instructions on how to run this business, how to run this operation.
Yep.
And that way it don't get lost, and you just pass that down.
But it also passes down the knowledge of, like, for instance, today when I was driving with my daughter, I gave her a $20 bill. But then I told her about, like, she had went to, like a week ago, she went on a field trip. So she hustled me out $20. I gave her $20. Cool. She hustled her mama out of $50. So she did took $70 to the field trip, right? She come back with $0. I said, Raya, how is that you get $70 and you come back with $0? This is a problem. And so I was breaking down to her. I gave her $20. I said, listen, you got to always make sure that you spend some, but you always save some, and you got to learn how to invest some. So right now you're not in a position more so to invest, but because you're young, but you need to learn how to save. I said, because most people are one emergency away from everything being done with, especially when you are paycheck to paycheck, right?
Yep.
So it's like you have to save for a rainy day. You know, and it made sense because we was driving. It was raining today, so it kind of made sense of everything too. But she was like, okay, I get it, Dad. I said, because this is the thing. It's not about making it. It's what you do when you get it. You know, we got to have those hard conversations with our kids early on, so it's embedded in our head. It's embedded in their head by the time they 15, 19, 20. Like, I remember that. I remember when my dad said that. Like, he was talking about it. And that is what has to happen. Just because those conversations didn't happen necessarily with me all the time. My grandma was probably the person that did the best with the conversations. But my dad was mostly working, so we didn't have a lot of those conversations until early on, and that's why. And my mom never had that conversation, and that's why I struggled so long with like money issues.
But out of curiosity, what did she do with the $70?
Man,
she like buying everybody snacks. She's
I
like
asked her
Oprah.
that.
She was like,
I
"You
know,
get some tips."
I know. I asked
like,
her
what
that.
happened?
She bought like 2 souvenirs or whatever, and then something else. It wasn't worth it. I tell you that.
So my daughter is like that. She's like me. She's a giver. I like to give gifts, you know. And
I ain't never got no gift. I ain't
Christmas
never got
coming
no
up.
gift.
I got you. Christmas coming, man. I'll get you another one of them little goddamn 2 small beanies. I got you.
Wow, that's crazy.
But look,
Can you make it to Keith and James?
huh?
You know what I'm saying? I'm on my Keith and
I
James
got
tip.
you. Let me know. Send me the information.
They about 500.
100? Fucking beanie.
Something like, no, it ain't a beanie.
Oh, man.
That beanie better make your hair grow or something.
No,
That's the
nah.
big ass hats with the.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Go with the red
So
bone.
my daughter, right? She took her grandmother's credit card
Oh boy.
Mm.
and bought all her friends Christmas gifts.
Oh man, no.
Mm.
This is like I had this conversation early on, bro.
So, do you get mad at her though?
Yes.
Yeah, who you think you Oprah?
But she did a good deed.
Huh?
She did a good deed.
On somebody else's credit though.
On somebody else's credit.
I mean,
It's
it's better to
you
give
took
than
your
to
grandma's
receive,
credit
though,
card
right?
and You ordering your friends gifts. What are you doing?
No.
all right. So look, check this out. On the topic of children, y'all
Yeah.
both have daughters, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
So you're gonna teach your daughters, you know, the importance of financial literacy, right? So when it comes to like the topic that we're speaking on,
Right.
say they encounter a man that makes less than them.
Mm-hmm.
We all believe women are supposed to be submissive to their men, right?
Right.
So what do you teach your daughter, or what do you tell her when it comes to a situation like that? When she encounters a man that's making less than her, he may be financially responsible, but he just doesn't make as much money as her. How do you address that? Or what do you tell your daughters, or how do you guide them in how to handle situations like that?
I mean, in that sense, if he's financially responsible, then I think that if everything else that he's doing and he has a vision for them,
That's working.
you know?
Not a rapper.
Yeah. We don't need an aspiring entertainer.
35. Still trying to be a rapper. You ain't make it yet. Like,
Yeah. We're not looking for a little Duval that's trying to come up with a hit in their 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no. But if he has all of the other qualities, emotional intelligence, you know, physically attracted to him, he's respectful, loyal, things like that, and he has a vision for where they want to go, I think that's what it is. Is like a woman's going to feel safe for a man to lead and submit to them if they have a vision. Unfortunately, men don't have no vision.
right.
They just plan it day by day. That's not going
Vision
to work.
they have is the television. You know what I'm saying? So
It's not going to work. So that would be my thing, is that like if he has a vision of, okay, this is where I want to, because I think about when there was a time that my daughter's mom was making more than me. You know what I'm saying? Always had a vision of where I wanted to go. And she stuck by me, and she got to see me make my first 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? And she benefited off of that still to this day, you know, not necessarily super benefiting, but like obviously I bought her a car in 2020, things like that. So like she saw the progression, and she didn't like be like, oh, I'm making more money, and she tried to shit on me and nothing like that. But I had a vision. I already told her I want to be rich. I want to make a lot of money and stuff like that. Had I not had that and was a bum,
yeah, I agree. I was supposed to say something deep like that. All right.
No. So I mean, let's just put the scenario like, okay, say now I know they teenagers now. Let's say adulthood. So
yeah,
18 and up, right? She bring a guy home.
Mm-hmm.
She really liked this dude. Like, really like him. But he don't have all his stuff together. How do you instruct her to proceed in that relationship? Do you say, oh, no, he broke, leave him alone?
Well, what do you mean by he don't have all the stuff together? Like is he trying to get it together? Or his shit is just all the way
he's
fucked
still
up?
trying to figure. He's still in the early 20s trying to figure it out.
She is too?
Yeah. Early 20s to me, in my opinion, you're still trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Not too many people had their stuff together.
Depending on how you were guided.
Because I feel like, okay, so if you look at like our situations, we first generation.
Mm-hmm.
So our parents weren't in the positions we're in. So it's going to be a little bit different.
True.
So like if you're instilling in your children the qualities, the characteristics, the financial literacy that you have, then you would expect for them to be a little more advanced than maybe you were at their same age, right?
Yep. Nah, you're right. You're right.
And I mean, at the same time, I also think that a lot of times they're going to know better too. Like they're going to see certain stuff that you taught them and guided them to see. And they're going to make better decisions on the choices that they make for men. You know, a lot of women choose men that are like their fathers.
That's true.
So they're going to look at their fathers and they're going to be like, oh, my dad did this, this, and this. You know, again, I'm not trying to brag, but, you know, I was making $100,000 at 21.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, again, I've had friends that have surpassed me in that at this point in life. But back then, and I can't even say my parents guided me in that way because I was making more than them. But it's just, it's funny. I posted some shit on IG that said something along the lines of, I've been put in different positions in life based off of how I've treated people and how I am as a person. And that's how I ended up being in those positions where it's like people will meet me, they'll talk to me, they'll be like, oh, I like his personality. He can do this. He's like this. He presents this. So what do you think about doing this? Like when I tell you every single job that I've had has been a job that I've gotten just based off of like personality,
character.
Yeah. Every single one was like that. To the point where I was like, yo, I don't even deserve this. I don't know this shit that they want me to do, but I'm going to pretend like it and I'm going to learn it when I get there. You know what I mean? But it's happened. Mm-hmm. And I think that my daughter has seen that and she has seen how I've handled those different situations. And I've kind of pushed her in that direction even now where I'm like, hey, look, I know you're still trying to figure out what you want to do in life, but why don't you look at this, this, and this? Because I can help you get here, here, and here. Yeah. You know, I think a lot of people will be in positions where they'll have someone that can help them get somewhere and go completely against the grain and say, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So when it comes to that and the guys that she's choosing, I think that she's going to think about that and she's going to look at that. But even if she doesn't, I'm not going to discourage her. I'm just going to give her things to think about.
Right.
You know, where it's like, hey, look, if these are the things that you want in life and these are the things that you want to do in life, you need to think about this. And if this is the guy you're interested in, then maybe you should kind of shoot him along in this direction and say, hey, look, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should try this. Maybe you should look at that. You know, and a prime example is, or somebody that learns, like take, for example, Kev. I love what the hell he said when he was on here. You know, Kev went to prison. But now Kev came out and is killing the game because he was smart enough to pay attention to stuff and be like, yo, I don't want to live this life anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be worried about if this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. I want to put myself in a position where I'm making things happen for me. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of times all it takes is for you to be able to show that person, hey, look, this is where you can be. This is what you can do. You don't have to be in this position just because this is where you came from.
Right.
So do you teach them to be submissive?
That's a good question.
Daughters?
I don't. Sorry.
You don't?
So,
No.
Okay.
I would say I do. Because again, if you're only giving them masculine energy and then they go out to be, for instance, I have a good friend of mine, and she said that she followed in the footsteps of her dad. Their parents are still together, but she learned so much from her dad. And the issue that she had in relationships is that she tried to be the man.
Right.
And she's seeing now as an adult, like, man, that caused a lot of my relationships not to work out, being that, you know what I'm saying, doing that. So I think it is important to teach your daughter certain different things. And that could be as simple as, like, even though it really doesn't matter in our times nowadays, but them going in the kitchen and cooking.
Yeah.
Them going and cleaning the dishes and stuff like that. I got
Huge.
my daughter doing chores and stuff, right? Because, you know, if you don't have them, if you don't give them those responsibilities to learn how to do that stuff, they're gonna end up like they're not gonna know how to be submissive in this.
And that's the thing, like when it comes to like us as men, right? We're all alpha males. We want our women to be submissive. But it's like, okay, when it comes to a woman that you're raising,
Right.
are you raising her to be that same way? That same type woman that you're looking for, or are you raising her to be like you?
Right.
Well, I think for me, I'm lucky enough to have, she has a mom that kind of teaches her that side of it. You know, her mom, you know, she was with both of us long enough to be able to see the interaction, you know, even though we're not together anymore, but to see the interaction between the two of us and the me playing my role as a father and going out and getting it and making sure everything happened and making sure that they didn't want for anything. And, you know, her mom doing her thing too, because I'm not going to act like she didn't work. She did her own thing too. But she was also coming home and making dinner and, you know, doing, not to say womanly things. You got to be real careful now. You see what happened to Dave Chappelle, but you got to be careful. But, you know, she was doing things that you would want your woman to do.
Right.
Cooking for you, making your plate. Like, y'all women.
But
y'all need to know the power of making your man's plate, how it makes him feel.
That should be something that we have to tiptoe around, because if you think about it, any woman you ask, she's expecting the man to court her, right?
Right.
Meaning you gonna take her out on a date. You gonna pick up the bill.
Right.
You gonna take care of the bills of the house. You gonna be the head of the household. So when it comes down to things like that, like when you say, you know, you got to be careful with that. Nobody's careful when it comes to, the men got to do this, this, and this. Sure. Okay, so if that's the case, then why do we have to tiptoe around a woman should cook, she should clean, she should do this, that, and the third. I don't think it should be like that. I think we should be open with it, just like women are open with telling us, like, Nick, you supposed to be leading. You supposed to pick up the tab. I'm not touching it.
Right.
We've been conditioned in a society where giving women accountability is looked down upon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why we that's why can't nobody stay together, because it's like it's lopsided.
Yeah.
And then you look down upon, if you ask the woman, what you bring to the table? Pussy. But it's like, all right, the man, and it's like, as a man, I have no problem being the provider.
Facts.
I'll take care of you. I pick up the tabs and everything. Are you doing what you're supposed to do as a woman?
Right.
And that's where I think the issue comes in. And even back to the question, like, is a woman gonna be submissive, or women are only submissive to men with money?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, on the flip side, those men with money, are they even gonna take this woman serious if she not doing her womanly duties?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time, no. But then you have some men that they want to have, They just want to have a pretty face next to them.
Right.
I know some men that never had money like that. They never got women like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just need somebody on their arm that's eye candy.
Yeah.
And they don't care if the woman ain't doing shit.
And it's new. And it's you. I use the analogy because it's similar with minorities when it comes to possessions. We never had it. It may be some shit that you don't even like. Like, I use the example, and I don't know, maybe some people like them, but I use the example of those Balenciaga shoes. They look like them.
I like them.
Dad shoes.
I like
He's talking about the big joints.
Nah, I'm talking about the big ugly joints.
Okay. I thought you were talking about
The big
sock joints.
ugly,
The big joints that you can
ugly
probably
ones
yeah,
that look like, you know what I'm saying? You used to see those same shoes in Walmart.
Yeah, sure.
And niggas avoided them like the plague. But now they cool because
Be on them.
of the price tag on them.
Right.
So it's like we're targeted when it comes to like the fashion and stuff like that, like luxury. We're targeted and we go for that because of the price tag. So we can say like, yeah, I spent $1,100 on these.
Yeah.
So, and that's because we've never had it. So the same thing, like you said, men who have never had that attention from women, they like, I don't care. She a pretty face. They gon' look when I walk through the door and she on my arm.
Yeah.
So it's like, at the same time, is that gonna be a man that you want to submit to, for one?
Right.
And then as the woman, is that gonna be a woman that man is really gonna take seriously? Or is it just for the time being while you on his arm?
I mean, sometimes, yeah, it ends up being for time. But I know some people that it does last for long. I've known some people. But I think women would do it for money. There's a lot of women that, not all of them, but there's some women that if they've been dealing with a whole bunch of broke niggas their whole entire life, and all of a sudden this person comes along, no matter what they look like, whatever, and they literally gonna take the stress. Life is stressful.
Yes.
So you can take the stress off of finances and things like that. They gonna submit, man. They gonna submit because they like finally, like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why I say money matters.
It matters. So listen, fellas, man.
Money
I tell
matters.
you, fellas, if you are in your late 20s, going into your 30s, hell, if you're in your 40s, listen, do not date if you ain't got no money. Do not waste your damn time. Get you some paper, okay? Because when you get you some paper, your options start to be wider.
Focus
you ain't got
on
much
yourself.
options. You ain't got no money in your pocket.
Focus on yourself,
he
King.
says money. You're not saying you got to be making $150,000 a year. Be financially responsible.
That's what I'm
Like,
really mean.
don't get the words twisted and think that
You need to make 7
these
figures.
niggas up here bougie. No, that's not what we're saying.
I mean,
We're just saying that
here's
you're
the thing,
able to
though.
pay your bills and
Here's
not
the
worry about taking said person who you're dealing with to what's a nationally
But here's the thing.
Ruth Chris.
Here's the thing. When most of the time,
It ain't all that, but you get what I'm saying.
but listen, most of the time, especially with inflation and everything, when you ask a woman how much money should the man make, most of them say 6 figures.
6
bro.
figures. That's the go-to.
Most of them say, they don't say, oh yeah, 5 figures. Yeah, they usually always say 6 figures. Like it's a standard. And the reality though, there's not a lot of people make 6 figures.
Yeah.
Not legally anyway. Black men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So get you some money. It's not really hard to make 6 figures anyway. Like if you get you a skill set, like for instance, Vic.
Airbnb.
Right? Or Airbnbs. 6 figure a year business. It's not hard. Turo. You know what I'm saying? You get multiple cars. Another business, 6 figure business. Like it's not hard to make 6 figures. That shit is so damn easy. It's just ridiculous. I used to think $100,000 was a lot of money until I made it. And I'm like, shit, that's not a lot of money. So I think anybody who's listening, you just got to uplift and change your mindset.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because inflation, look, it's getting hard out here, man.
It is.
Rents is going up. So we can't just tell people you should be averaging $40, $50. That's cool if you're there, but the goal should be 6 figures because in a minute, like my mentor told me this years ago. The middle class continues to get wider. That gap. It's gonna be just like how you go overseas. You got it or you don't.
Yep.
That middle class is gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So get you some money, fellas. Get you some money. Listen, if you want to learn Turo, he's your guy.
Got you.
If you want to learn Airbnb, he's your guy. If you want to launch a course, I'm your guy. Get you some fucking money.
Get you some money, and then that submissive woman that you want, they'll be at your disposal.
She might not be worth a damn.
But make sure she works. Hey, make sure that's another thing I want to touch on, because I feel like a lot of, especially when you get money at a young age, a lot of guys don't think about the value that a woman brings to your life. Make sure that she brings value to your life.
Facts.
So it's easy to say, it's when you got money, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy her this. Hey, yeah, go shopping. Hey, right. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, is she still gonna be there when you got a rough patch, when you hit that rough patch, when you can't send her shopping, when you can't just give her the card,
when Turo and Airbnb a little slow.
Yeah,
what is it? August and October,
and then when you don't have that money and you say you can't afford the chef, or you can't, is she gonna be able to get in that kitchen and cook for you? Are you gonna have a meal? Are you gonna come home to a clean house? Or you gonna have to worry about that too when you come home from working all day and trying to get that bag back.
Yeah,
that's important. Don't forget that.
It's important, and that's probably we can do a whole nother episode about that, because that becomes harder the more successful you become.
Absolutely.
Like you really gotta think, like, damn, like, is this woman really for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Entitlement is a motherfucker.
Yeah. And it's not even just that. Like, it's just like if you get with somebody and your situation is great and you do have a rough patch, you're really not going to know if they're going to stay around until you go through it.
Right.
I mean, they could say, yeah, I'm going to stay around, but will they? You really don't know. So I think that becomes harder and harder the more successful and everything you get. But like I said, that's another subject that we can get on another time.
But look, man, hey, I just want to tell y'all boys, I had a fucking blast on this first season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And season 2. Hey, I just want y'all to know, season 2, we opening up. Live audience.
Yes, it's coming.
Live audience.
It's coming.
I had a blast though, you know what I'm saying? We still waiting on that 42 sponsorship. Y'all holla at me. But
we are waiting on that. Nah, but definitely season 1 has been a success, fellas. I mean,
yes.
For us to see of coming up with this idea, really from the strip club.
Yeah. Hey, we shouted them out in the first episode. Yeah. I think we should do it in the last episode of the first season.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Penthouse.
Penthouse.
Hey, I fuck with y'all salmon. Whoever in the back cooking it, keep doing what you're doing.
But look, we can't shout out Penthouse without shouting out where the conversation began.
Okay.
It ended at Penthouse, but
right?
It began at Lit.
That's true.
Shout out to Lit.
Shout out to Lit.
Boss Lady KP.
KP. Mm-hmm. Love you.
Definitely. So as we end this season, we want y'all to go into the holidays, enjoy yourself, drinking responsibly, because I know some of y'all are going to be getting lit on Christmas. Stuff,
Easy Year's. On that eggnog.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially if you lactose intolerant. All right.
But season 2, we got a lot of stuff planned. We got a lot of great interviews coming. Like Vic said, the live audiences, you guys will be able to tune in and see it live, even ask some questions. You guys are going to love that. So we appreciate y'all. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Let us know how we did this first season. Make sure you share it out as well to the world. If you're on Instagram, tag us Triple Threat Podcast 1. That's our handle as well. So listen, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bruce, a.k.a. Detroit Mogul.
Another one of your hosts, Brian Keys, a.k.a. BK609.
And it's Vic Gurley, a.k.a. MVP Vic. And until season 2, y'all enjoy the holidays. And we out.
Love y'all.
days to help wash my pain away. Now I don't make a payment late. New estate got my name on the gate. This what my granny